pleased to be here with Adelaide United in this amazing new partnership that we've developed, and so grateful for Adelaide United foregoing engaging with sports betting agencies in this really important program here for the game. So the state government has been working closely with Adelaide United to develop this new advertising campaign. Online betting and sports betting is the fastest growing form of betting in our community. It has a big impact, particularly on young men, and so what this campaign is aiming to do is to prevent the normalisation of sports betting. So we really literally want people to be here for the game, to focus on the sports stars that they admire, to be here for the community, for family, for the atmosphere, and for all the things that are really positive about sports, rather than to be focused on their phones and on online gambling, because we're very concerned about the impact and the reach of online betting companies. We know that 3/4 of children aged between 8 and 16 can name an online betting agency, and that's quite disturbing. So for Adelaide United to step up and to be in partnership for a campaign like this, we're very excited about, and we think it's a really good initiative, and look forward to seeing some more positive outcomes.
Do you guys have any questions?
Yeah, you have kind of touched on it, I guess, Minister, but how concerning is it just how young people are that are gambling when coming to games?
Yeah, we are very concerned about the impact on young people. For many years in South Australia, the focus on gaming machines has been something that we've really been aware of. With online sports betting, it affects a different group of people, so younger people, young males particularly, and part of the way that people gamble is through their phone, so it's quite hidden. So it's not like you've got someone who's trained like they do in licensed venues where they can go and interact with someone to see if they need assistance. So very concerned about the potential of the impact of online gambling on young people, and obviously if it starts in their younger years, that can affect them financially for the rest of their lives. So it's really important that we have campaigns like this at that preventative end to educate the community, so that people can start having those conversations with people that they might be concerned about, and that the community that comes here to celebrate Adelaide United is completely focused on the game and not on online gambling.
Do you think it'll have a big impact? Obviously gambling and sport, it's a very popular mix.
Well look, we think that every effort that's made at this level is important. I think as a partnership with Adelaide United behind it, with some pretty powerful advertising, any prevention work that we can do is going to assist people in the long run.
Is this a first for sporting clubs in South Australia, do you know, to make a stand like this?
Yes, we believe this is a first in South Australia, that we have this partnership between Adelaide United and the South Australian Government to work together on this campaign to develop the messaging and making sure that it's tailored to the people who are part of the Adelaide United community, who we know attend games. So I think it's going to be watched very closely what the impact is by other teams, by other codes and across South Australia.
And I guess how proud are you that a South Australian club has stood up and done this? It's a pretty bold move for a sporting organisation.
Yeah, look, that's a really good point. It is a very bold move by Adelaide United to take the stand that they have. We think they're doing a great thing in standing up for the game and joining with us in this important measure.
Do you hope that other clubs or sporting codes take notice?
Yes, look, I think it'll be really important for all sporting codes to see what's happening here, both locally here in South Australia and interstate, because clearly this is a growing problem in our community, and we want to make sure that people are aware of the risks and they focus on the positive aspects of sport rather than on online gambling.
Will you reach out to other organisations, the Pros, Port Adelaide, the Adelaide 36ers?
So yes, we will be providing that opportunity for other sporting codes to register an interest, and obviously be really pleased to partner with other sporting codes as well for that's really important for us. And now I'll ask Nathan.
Good morning, everyone. First, I'd like to thank the Marshall Government, Minister Lensink and the Office for Problem Gambling for the opportunity to develop the Here for the Game campaign. It's no secret that there's a lot of temptation in partnering with sports betting companies. You only have to look at our competing codes, but also globally with football as the world game to see the prevalence of betting branding on playing kits and at venues. And we made a conscious decision that wasn't for us. We're a club that's founded in the community. And we felt as though we had a duty of care to promote a positive message both on and off the field, and it was somewhat disingenuous for us to partner with betting agencies and accept betting revenues if we're true to that. So really excited about today's announcement. It's a 3-year partnership. This is day one leading into our first home game of the season on Saturday. You'll start to see assets online, as of today, but obviously also at the stadium here on Saturday. So we'll have 3 ambassadors representing the club, Stefan, Mauk and Chelsie Dawber behind me, and also Mohamed Toure. We, as I said, a community-focused organisation, and it was important for us that we had ambassadors that were recognisable and local South Australians that had connections back into grassroots football. And with Chelsie, Stefan and Mohamed, we've got that. So really exciting and proud day for the club. This is day one, 3 years, plenty of work to do, but you'll see the positive messaging from today onwards.
Nathan, we've talked about how big a move this is for the club. How difficult a decision was it financially to turn your back away from online sport?
Well, it became somewhat of an ethical discussion first and foremost, and we've spoken a lot in the last 12 months about our brand, and we rewrote our mission, vision and values through COVID last year. And through that process, discussions such as these were had. And as I said before, it's somewhat disingenuous to be a community-focused organisation and promote positive messages at the same time then partner with gambling companies. So the stat that was most alarming, as the Minister alluded to, is the fact that 75% of 8 to 16-year-olds can recall a betting agency. You watch any live sport at the moment and it's rife in terms of sponsorship. So we have a greater participation base of any other than any other football code, particularly young males. So I think the opportunity to reach out to them will be really good through us, and obviously working with the grassroots community, local clubs as well. I think is where we'll see some added benefit.
What kind of reaction do you think you'll get from fans, or what do you hope you'll get?
Well, I think a positive one. I think that generally the community would share the same view as us. It's an issue that I think probably isn't as talked about as potentially pokies as an example. But I think it'll be well accepted. Our fans are very connected with the club. I think they'll respect the fact that the club has gone down this path, and hopefully we'll buy into the messaging that, as I said, we'll pick up from today.
Do you get a reaction from headquarters from A-League? Are they associated with gambling, and how does the club fit into that?
The league traditionally has had partnerships, but there also have been clubs in the past, so in Melbourne and in Sydney in particular, that have had similar partnerships with similar campaigns. So it's not unheard of within the A-League. First time in South Australia and first time for us. But the league is supportive of it because they understand the position the club's taking.
And I guess lastly, what kind of lasting impact do you hope this will have 10 years down the road?
Yeah, well, it's a 3-year partnership, so I think that will give us some time to really hit home with the messaging. And as I said, we have a much younger demographic in terms of our fan base, particularly males. So, and you'll find that our fans are rusted onto the club for longer than a season or two. So hopefully those younger ones that are attending now pick up this messaging, and when they get to the age that their mates, potentially signing up to gambling companies and the like, that message is loud and clear that you're here for the game and here for the positive impact that we have, not to be sitting on your phone and betting on the next goal scorer and the like.
Do you hope that other Adelaide clubs and I guess A-League clubs will follow suit?
I'd hope so. As I said, the temptation to accept sponsorship revenue, particularly in this market with COVID, there's no hiding from the fact that professional teams have had some challenges in the last 18 months. At the same time, I think it's provided everyone the opportunity to refresh what they do, and we definitely did that through COVID. And I think it's a positive message, and hopefully the broader sporting community in South Australia get behind it.
Well, Stefan, what was your reaction to this campaign?
Yeah, obviously it's an extremely positive one. Knowing myself, Chelsie and Mo, we're in a position of privilege with what we say has an impact on young people's lives. So everything that we do hopefully will go in the future to impact them. So this, for me, seeing friends come to games and sporting events and be betting, it's not a positive thing. So if we can impact the kids of tomorrow that are going to be older in years to come to be able to bet and for them to focus on the game rather than that is a really important thing.
Quite often these days we see players get involved with online gambling ads and things like that across the world. Different approach from you. How do you feel about doing the opposite of what they're doing?
Yeah, I guess like Nathan touched on, obviously financially it's a sacrifice for the club possibly, but for the greater good and what we stand for as a club, obviously being the captain, I think I have to lead by example, and for me it's about how can I impact people's lives positively, and this is something that I can do.
Usually players stay away from the club side of things and just focus on the field. Did the club come to you to stand up to this, or is it something that you approached them about?
So the club came to me, and it was something that I felt, I guess, passionate about, and I was more than happy to come on board. As I said, being the captain, I think it's important to lead by example, and it's a really positive thing that we can hopefully get all the fans to be focused on the game rather than things on their phones.
And what do you think the reaction would be from young fans?
Yeah, I hope they'll be really excited by it. As a young fan, when I used to come to the game, all I was focused on was watching the players score goals and win matches. So I think it's a really important thing for parents to come here and be watching the games so that kids don't, I guess, go in and think when they're older that that's what they need to do. So it starts with the people that are old enough to bet, and then the kids will be watching what the parents do. So it's a really important thing that I guess they're leading by example and focusing on us on the pitch.
And how much of a noticeable difference has there been for you in online gambling and sport? I'm assuming when you were a teenager it wasn't as prevalent as it is now.
Definitely not. I think you watch all sports and there's always gambling ads coming on, so it's something that you are not thinking about it, and then it pops up and you maybe think, oh, I'll maybe put a bet on. So it's important that the same message is against betting, because it's just as important to obviously show people the negative effects of it. So it's a really important thing that we speak about this as much as betting.
Questions, Chelsie? I guess, Chelsie, this is just another part of your role as a role model for younger girls looking at, in particular, and younger boys who follow the code.
Yeah, I'm only 21 myself, so I think that sets a pretty good example of being a young person standing up against betting. Hoping that the next generation coming through also follows in my footsteps and supports being against betting. So.
And it sort of also is part of the club's campaign that they're part of the community and they want to do the right thing by the community as a broader picture.
Yeah, I think that's definitely something that Adelaide United do pretty well, interact and involve themselves in the community, so it's pretty good to see that they're partnering with this deal here, promoting against betting. So I think hopefully that will have a great impact on the community and set a great standard for promoting women in sport, men in sport, and setting a good future for the next generation coming through.